Very happy to be here. Thanks for having me. And my plan today is to talk to you about product culture, which is the topic of my fourth book. Consider this a sort of a trailer of the book, so to speak. And to start this conversation, I want to start with the question: why is product culture so important? And I learned this the hard way, so to speak. I started my career in 1992 with one of the first internet service provider in Brazil. I was the founder of this company. After that, after around 12 years, 13 years, I went to LocalWeb. LocalWeb is the big web hosting company in Brazil. I joined a friend from college. After 11 years there, I decided to go to a more SaaS type of product. Conta Azul is an ERP for small businesses. I stayed there for 2 years, and then I received an interesting invitation to join a company called Gympass. I don't know if you know Gympass here. Gympass has some presence. Now is known as WellHub. And I joined them in 2018, and they are one of the first Brazilian unicorns. And as you can see, all of them tech companies that has tech in their DNA, so to speak. And back in 2020, I received an invitation of this company called Lopes. Lopes is a real estate company, is the biggest real estate in Brazil. And they have, I believe, 90 years old now. They are a very old company. It's a family business. And they were facing huge competition of those two very well-funded startups, Quinto Andar and Loft. And they were very concerned. And because of this, they raised some money. They were already a public company, but they made a follow-on offer in the market to raise some money. They raised $30 million. And then they invited me to lead their digital transformation. And it was quite a ride, quite an experience. Because during my onboarding, one of the things that they asked me to do is to visit some of their franchises. And in one particular franchise, the owner, a bit older than me, around 70, he looked at me and said, "Oh, finally someone with gray hair, white hair, because you and I, we are from the same time where business decide what we need to do and IT just implements." I said, "Oh my God, where am I?" So I started to realize that what we needed to change is the way that people behave, is the culture of the company. So that's was my ride there, and this ended up becoming a book. This book here, Digital Transformation and Product Culture, because I believe the two topics are very aligned. And after that, Marty Kagan, I believe you all know, wrote a book about transformation as well. So no coincidence there. And one of the chapters of this book, chapter 27, is about Gympass, about the part of the transformation that we did at Gympass. So this is why product culture is so important. And those are the five topics that I'm going to talk about. Very briefly introduce the concept of product, of culture, and then talk about the four principles. So what is culture? I like this very lean and straight to the point definition. Is a set of shared principles that guide how a group behaves, basically. So we are a group of people, right? And what a product culture says, as we as a group, that if A happens, we do X. If B happens, we do Y. It's as simple as that. And when it comes to product culture, we need to give a step back to understand what is product culture. I believe everybody knows Agile Manifesto, right? Those are the four principles. I won't talk about them because I believe everybody here knows about them. But one thing that I like to call the attention is to that phrase on the top. One important aspect that you need to consider when we analyze the Agile Manifesto is that it was created by 17 people that worked in outsourcing company, in companies that make software on demand for their clients, consultancy type of companies. And that's the reason why they were uncovering better ways of developing software, better ways of focus on the process of developing software. And I will change one word, the placement of one word, and this phrase will change completely, as you see. So if we change the word better to this way, we are uncovering ways of developing better software. We change the focus from the process to the result of the process, which is the product, which is the focus of the product culture. The focus of the product culture is on finding ways to develop a better software. What is a better software? A software that actually solves the problem of our client while generating result to our company. Okay, so let's dive into the first principle. The first principle is deliver early and often, and this is the very first because without it, all the others makes no sense. And I like to bring this phrase from Reid Hoffman. Reid Hoffman is one of the co-founders of LinkedIn, and he is also very well known in the Silicon Valley by the advice that he gives to many startups there. And one of this advice is this one. If you are not embarrassed of the first version of your product, is because you launched too late. That's simple. And why is that? Why is it important for us to launch early? There are many reasons. We need feedback from the user. We need to be aware of not creating a full of features product. But one of the reasons that I think it's very, very important is this one, is about the return on investment. Suppose we are building a to-do app, an app that manages to do, that has the list of tasks, has a due date, has a completion, and things like that. And we are going to analyze the return on investment of this product. So here we have a chart with month. Now with the use of AI, probably will be weeks or even days, but here we have month. This is pre-AI. And this is the result. On the y-axis, we have the result. So while we are developing the software is not yet in front of our users. We are just taking money out of our pocket. We are just investing until we get to month 5 or month 6. We put it in front of some users and we start to have some return to the point that we hit this other phase here, which is the monthly profitability. We start to receive more money than we spend during each month. And then we hit a point on month 11 that we actually return our investment. So this is the moment that we have money back. All of this area here below the chart is the money that we need to have in our pocket or in our cash in order to invest and to build the product, okay? So now let's imagine that I want to deliver a more complete product. This is something that product people sometimes face, this type of decision. So I don't know, maybe a list of tasks with due dates is too simple of a product. I need to deliver a more complete product. So let's add group it by project. It's another feature here. Let's see what happens. I will move the month 6 here that we have to the month 9. Let's see what happens with our return on investment. So I just changed it from month 6 to month 9. And now we have 6 months of delay on our return on investment. 6 months. This is a lot. This is a lot. Not only that, take a look at this area. If you take a look at the green area, it's more than double the amount of money that we need. So it's dangerous. It's really dangerous. But now, suppose that we look to the list of features and say, you know what? I will be embarrassed. I'm going to launch a very, very simple to-do app. So no due date, no group it by project. So something that I'm able to deliver, I don't know, in 3 months. Let's see what happens if I move from month 6 to month 3, the profitability. As I believe you have imagined, I would be able to advance in 6 months the return on investment. But not only that, take a look at the valley that is formed there. It's way smaller. It's way smaller than we had. So that's the reason why we need to be embarrassed. And in order to illustrate, I will bring an example from Gympass Wellness. Gympass, as I mentioned, is now known as WellHub. is a corporate wellness platform that is available here in Germany as well. And companies hire to offer to the employees access to a network of gyms and studios. So it's basically this image here. I like to use this type of image to explain a business. So we have the HRs, we have the employees, and we have the gyms, right? And we were always, back in 2019, looking into expanding this to creating other products to our users. And here, one thing that we thought is, okay, why don't we offer also workout app? Workout app, a person can do at their home. It's very convenient. And thinking about that, we thought, why not go further? Offer mindfulness app, offer nutrition app, and so on. So we decided to create an apps marketplace related to wellness. And there were two questions, two main risks that we needed to mitigate in order to build this product. The first one is, are there apps interested in joining this marketplace? Does it make sense to the apps to join this marketplace? Because if we don't have apps, it doesn't bother building a product, right? If we are able to find a few apps, then what we're gonna do, we're gonna test if our users are willing to subscribe, because we want to sell this as a separate subscription. So in order to test the first one, we didn't build any app. We just built a PowerPoint presentation or Google Slides and explaining what is Gympass, the mission, the global presence, 2,000 corporate clients, how it works, and things like that. And here, even a technical solution and a pilot proposal. We offered to 8. From those 8, 6 showed interest, and from those 6, 4 decided to join this pilot. And then we decided to build our pilot. What we did was, from those 2,000 clients, we selected 10, 5 from the US, 5 from Brazil, a base of 15,000 employees, and sent to those 15,000 employees an email marketing showing that we are launching this new product. So it will cost $8 per month. Click here to know more. Then the person is directed to Google Forms, a very simple form. And in this form, they get to know more about the product. They get to know the apps that we have. Now you for physical activity, 8Fit for nutrition and physical activities, Zen for meditation. And then the person needed to fill out only the information like name, email, and the company that they worked for. And then credit card information, because we are testing the willingness to subscribe. That's simple. There is no product. The only thing that the person receives is a link to activate their account in each of the partners. There is no login area, there is no user and password, nothing. Just a Google Form. So the first version of this product was a Google Forms. And this was very important. I will tell more about this in a bit when I talk about the pandemic. But it was very important that we delivered this really, really fast. It was probably a month and a half. We had this product ready to launch. So the second one, I will talk about focus on the problem. And again, I will bring someone reasonably known. Yuri Levine is the co-founder of Waze. And he likes to say that we should not fall in love with the solution, but with the problem. This is actually what is saying his T-shirt over there. And why is that? This is another important aspect because I believe everybody knows here we have discovery where we understand more about the problem, interview the customer, know more about the customer and the problems that they have, and understand if it is a valid opportunity, a business opportunity. And then we figure out how to solve the customer problem, and then we go directly to delivery. We go to build the solution. The thing is, this is just part of what we do in product development. This part here that I just described is what I like to call problem discovery. Because there is another side of discovery which is really, really important, and many companies forget about this part of discovery, which is what I call the solution discovery. Being able to test hypotheses of solution to that problem to figure out which one is the best one for us to solve the problem of the client while we're generating results for the company. Not doing this is, in my view, one of the main reasons why products fail, because people go from problem discovery, then they figure out, okay, our clients have this type of problem. Let's solve with this app or system. And then they go directly to scoping and building that solution without pausing to think, is that the best solution? Maybe there is a second, there's a third, there's a fourth, okay? And one another aspect that I find very, very important to make the point here is that we all want to innovate. We all want our teams to innovate, to create innovative products, right? The thing is, innovation doesn't happen neither in the problem discovery nor in the delivery. The moment where the innovation magic happens is in the solution discovery. This is where we are able to create hypotheses of solution, try all those hypotheses to find one that makes sense for us, okay? So another example, an example of I like this example very much, of an app for the real estate in that company that I mentioned to you, Lopez, which is a real estate company. They, as I mentioned, they are the biggest real estate in Brazil. They have more than 6,000 independent agents that help people buy and sell their properties. And they were building what they were calling MVP, but I call MVP in quotes. I call it in quotes because it took them 7 months of product development and it was not ready yet. And prior to those 7 months, they spent like 5 months in discovery, doing discovery. So 1 year to build an MVP. And I said to them, you cannot call it an MVP. 1 year is way too much. Normally it's a few weeks, max a month. And I asked them, why are we building this real estate agent app? Why is it so important for us? And they explained to me something that, after thinking a little bit about it, it made complete sense, which is a lead. A lead is an information of a person interested in a property. A lead, the faster a lead gets to the agent's hand and the agent replies to that lead, the bigger the chances of that lead becoming a property visit and eventually an acquisition of a house. So I went and searched for this information. It's very interesting. If we call within 5 minutes, we are 21 more times more effective than we live to call after 30 minutes. And then the first idea that came to their mind, let's build an app with push notification, right? Very simple, an app with push notification. Okay, but then they went into discovery. They went to talk with all the agents and started to ask them, okay, so tell me about your journey. How does it work? You receive the lead and you do what? And then they said, okay, I received the lead, and then I search Lopez database to see if the lead is already there. If it's not, I register the lead there. So they put that into the scope, and the scope get bigger, right? And then after that, they explained that they search for similar properties in order to present like 3 or 4 options to the lead, and it increases the chances of the lead willing to make a visit, to book a visit to one of those properties. So they decided to build this feature that I consider quite advanced, to draw the map, in the map, the area that you want to search for properties. It's a very advanced feature. So I explained to them, listen, 1 year MVP, it doesn't make sense at all. The main thing that we want to be solved is place the lead as fast as you can in the hands of the agent. So we should have made only the push notification app, only that. And you know what? If we think more about this, there are other solution hypotheses. Why not, for instance, instead of building an app, we don't send a WhatsApp notification or an SMS notification? And everybody opened their eyes quite wide. And then we talked to engineering team, and the engineering team, they built the solution in 10 days. In 10 days, all the agents were receiving the notification of new leads. They were expecting this for 1 year, 1 year. And in 10 days, they were receiving. So here we see focus on the problem as the principle, but aligned with the solution discovery, we are able to deliver early. Sometimes we think that doing solution, I don't have time even to do problem discovery. You are asking me to do solution discovery. But doing solution discovery actually can speed up the process of delivery, being able to find simpler solutions. Okay? So connecting to the third one, I will show the result that this change made in our numbers. And I will talk about deliver results. Why is this important? Mainly, I know we are in a product tank, we are celebrating the product day and all of that, but product is a means to an end. It's not the end. It's not our main objective. We build products in order to deliver results, right? Deliver results to whom? To the client, to the customer that needs or wants to have its problem solved, and to the company, which are after results, right? So our main priority as a product development team is to generate results as fast as possible. To whom? To our client who wants their problem solved, and to the company who wants their strategic objectives addressed. Okay, so the example that I will give here is very interesting, also come from Lopez. And in Lopez, I found a very interesting situation. I joined Lopez in August 2020, and right here. And when I joined them, half of the team came from third parties, from consultancies. And I've never worked in such a situation, always internal team. And I went to understand more why was that and what was happening. And I made some calculations about the cost of having an internal team versus third party. And it was more or less the same. Even the internal team was a bit cheaper. And then I decided to take this to the board and talk to the board. Hey, listen, I want to change. I want to change from third parties to internal team. And they asked me why. I said, listen, it's a gut feeling, but wherever I worked before here, all of the teams were internal and they were really invested in the company culture, understanding the objectives, delivering against those objectives. And with third party, this is a bit difficult, but it was only a gut feeling back then. And they said, okay, you are the expert, do it. It will cost even a little bit less, let's do it. Okay. We started to make the change. As you can see, in July 2021, we were able to remove all the third parties and replace them with internal team. And then when we were in December 2021, making a retrospective, looking into our numbers, we decided to cross this chart here, to put another chart on top of it, which was the number of leads generated by digital means. And it was shocking to see, and probably will be shocked too. Let me show it to you. It's really, really impressive. While we had the third party, the number, even though this was an objective since 2019, we were unable to move the needle. We were completely unable. Only when the third party was out that we were able to move. And what is the reason? Is that because it's third party or internal team? No, not exactly. It has some relation to that, but it has a relation with the way of work. The way that third party normally works is completely different than a real product team. And this is the difference. In what I like to call a project team, some people know it's feature team. What we normally do is to deliver what the stakeholders ask us to deliver, while in a product team, the team receives the results that they need to generate, the objectives, and they have autonomy to solve this and to achieve those results the way they see fit. the way of working is completely different. I believe you know this image. While we are doing a project, we will only deliver some result when the product is ready, only at the end. While in a product team, we are constantly iterating in order to get feedback from the user. And for instance, in this situation here, imagine I have a bicycle in the number 3, and then I talk to the customer, and the customer says, you know what? The bicycle is good enough. I just need a basket to take my groceries home. Okay, so now I don't need to build a motor bicycle, neither a car, and I can just build the bicycle with the basket. So this way of working is very, very different from the other one. In a project team, the PM, actually what they do is project management. While in the product team, they need to understand the customer problem in order to generate solutions, in order to generate solution hypotheses together with the team and implement the best one that generate business results. Prioritization in the project team is done by committee, normally with the HIPPO. I don't know if you know this acronym. HIPPO is the highest paid person opinion. So very, very common to see that. While in the product team, what we have is the product manager together with the team deciding what they need to build. The delivery of the project team is features, apps, and so on, while the product team, what they deliver are results. And finally, what we are funding in the project team, predefined solution. And that's the reason why we can outsource it, because it's a predefined solution. That's why it's so easy to outsource it. While in the product team, we are funding a team that actually solves the customer problems and generate results. Okay? So nice. If we take this concept here, we can see that during this time we were working as a project team, then we made the transition and became a product team. You know that takes a little while to do that. It's not instantaneous, but it happens. It's possible to happen if we are intentional. Okay, so to close, the fourth principle that I wanted to bring is ecosystem mindset. This is a very good one. I learned at Gympass. And ecosystem mindset means that we normally tend to pay more attention to one of the actors of our business, but we really should pay attention to all of them. Not when I joined Gympass, everybody looked into the employee. The employee is the B2C part. B2C normally tends to be a bit sexiest on the product management side. But we have also B2B with the HRs, the companies, and we had also the gyms. The gyms were another part of B2B. Even though we paid the gyms were very important. Without the gyms, we didn't have any marketplace to offer. And during the pandemic, a very interesting thing happened. Because as you can imagine, the pandemic hit Gympass, and then all the HRs started to call us and said, hey, listen, Gympass, my employee is locked down at their home. Your gyms are closed, so I don't believe it makes sense, the contract that we have. Let's cancel or at least suspend the contract. And we said, listen, just a second, we have the perfect solution for this. We have Gympass just launched. So that's the importance of delivering fast. Very timely, by the way. And this is the part of the biggest blitzscaling in my career. We went from 4 apps to 90 apps in like 2 months because we had to have a big portfolio of apps. And we went from 0 users to 500,000 users in 4 months. It was incredible, incredible. But that's the importance of being able to deliver early, to deliver fast, right? And then you think, okay, solved, all the revenue sources are solved. So what about the gyms? Oh, the gyms, they are a cost center for us, so let's leave them there. But that was not how we thought, because we already had, it was a company value, it was a company principle, this ecosystem mindset. And we looked into them and said, hey, listen, the pandemic will eventually end, as all crises eventually end. the pandemic will end, and we will need the gyms after that. So let's support them somehow. And that's why we decided actually to deliver very fast and a feature, which was we have this booking system where the gym owner schedule the classes, and we decided to add another field called URL for live transmission, and started to call the gyms and said, hey, listen, we need some live classes. We only have pre-recorded classes in the Gym Pass Wellness. We need live classes. Don't you want to call your coaches, your trainers to run some live classes? And they said, oh, okay, let's do it. So then in like 3 weeks, we were able to create a new product from scratch called Gym Pass Live Classes in order to offer this to our gyms. And we were able to help them avoid bankruptcy, which was a real threat for them back then. Okay, so finishing up what we saw today, we saw what is Coach, shared principles by a group of people. The first principle, we need to deliver early and often in order to invalidate or validate ideas as fast as possible and increase our ROI. The second one, focus on the problem. We talked a lot about solution discovery. Solution discovery is really, really important in order to create the best solutions as fast as possible, by the way. Third principle, we are focusing on delivering results. The product is a mean to this, okay? And fourth principle, ecosystem mindset, we need to pay attention to all actors of our product. To close here, we actually need both. It's not one against the other. We need both. We need a better process, so we need better ways of developing software, but we also need ways of developing better software. So this is the agile principles, and this, in order for us to achieve this, to develop the better software, we have the product principles, the product culture. And what happens if we don't have a product culture? As we saw today, we will build 1 year MVPs, which eventually will be the wrong solution. We will be working on projects without generating any result, and maybe death, because we won't be unable to react. So this is very, very important, very critical. The book, as Simonetta mentioned, is this one, Digital Transformation and Product Culture, how to put technology at the center of the strategy of your company. Is available on Amazon. And if you want to go even deeper, I can give talks like this one. This is a good opening talk to discuss product culture in many companies. Workshops, continuous education, mentoring, and so on. So thank you so much.